it ever happen to you that the same thing happens over and over and over and over again? It could be like, I don't know, anything, right? In relationships, you always meet the same kind of person, and no matter how much you're trying to manifest a situation that is different, it seems like the same pattern is haunting you. You're cursed with the same circumstance, or maybe with money. Finally, you're seeing some improvement, and then bang, again, the same pattern and bills and problems and challenges are in front of your eyes, and you're like, Neyah, literally, I don't know anymore what to do. I don't understand why I feel I'm reliving the same situation over and over and over again. How do I stop it? This video is for you if you are in that situation, or if you've ever been in that situation. Hello, you guys, my name is Neyah, and on this channel, I talk everything about manifestation, esotericism, and so much more. On Patreon, I do make extra content weekly, and now I also have membership for all of you guys who want to support the channel. If you want to find out more about my membership, I made a video that I'm going to link down below where I explain everything about them, so we don't have to lose time on this video. Now, let's get started with today's video. So, repeated patterns, right? Some people call it karma. You know, we could call it however you want. I don't think it matters the way you call it. I think it's more important because sometimes I feel, sorry the little rant, but in the spiritual community, sometimes we're more worried about giving explanations to why certain things happen, or to label, oh, this thing happened because it's the law of attraction, or this thing happened because it's karma. Like labeling everything that happens to us rather than focusing on the solution. And I think that people are tired of this. I was personally tired of it when I was watching. I want to hear the solution. What is the solution for me to get out of this rot? What is the solution for me to get out of repeated pattern? Call it karma, I don't care. I just want to know how to get out of here. So this is the way I figure it out. Remember that everything that I say comes from my personal experience and from the experience of my friends and clients. Take only what resonates with you as you create your own reality, and it's created according to your assumptions as well. So I can only say what worked for me. That's very important for me to clarify, especially if you guys are new to my channel. But generally speaking, I feel that when a pattern shows up in your life repeatedly, right? It's not one time, it's not two times, it's like, you know, it's like a movie that you have already watched and you don't know how to get out of here, get out of that situation. It's because somehow, some way, yes, we could say you have a lesson to learn, but to put it even in more simple terms, it's because somehow, some way, you didn't change, or better, your reaction, your thoughts, your mind reaction, and your emotional reaction, heart and mind coordination, your thoughts and your emotional reaction is always the same. So I know that you have already heard so many times from me and from other people, other coaches, the famous quote from Neville Goddard, there is no one to change but self. So we know that this reality is, to a certain extent, I think, to a very large extent, is a mirror. A mirror to what? To our states of consciousness. So really, there is no point in trying to tweak or change the mirror. Let's put it in simpler terms. You don't, if you like to put makeup, male or female you can be, or a binary or anything, right? You don't go in the morning and put makeup on the mirror, you put makeup on yourself. That's the same thing. There is no point in trying to modify with actions, or we could say with any material action, with actions, the mirror, when the mirror is only reflecting you, it's only reflecting what you got on your face, right? So the same is like this. When a pattern is repeating, is because somehow, some way, what is the mirror trying to show you? It's trying to show you that your thought patterns, because everything is mind, we even learned this through the 7 Hermetic principle, the first law that composed the law of assumption, the law of attraction, everything is mind. Everything is consciousness, right? You are God of your reality. Why? Because you are consciousness. That's why you're God of your reality. So because everything is mind and there is no point in changing the mirror, the same thing happened is because somehow, some way you didn't change enough, or you're having always the same emotional reaction to that particular situation. Now, when I'm talking about thought reaction and emotional reaction, I know it's easy said than done, but sometimes these emotional reactions that we have are extremely connected to our subconscious. They are not conscious, they're reaction, right? We just go and do them. We're so used to them, and they're part of that older program. So I'm going to give you a simple example, as I like to be very simple on my videos. Let's say, and this is not referred to you or to anything specific, it's just an example. Let's say that you're driving down your car, and every single time you find the worst drivers on the highway, like literally every single time you drive, there seems to be some sort of stupid, dumpy person, without judging anyone, that does something stupid and makes you angry. You shout and you're like, oh, this thing always happens to me. Like, I literally find always the worst drivers. But when you go in the car with your best friend, she's like, never happened to her. She never finds people that frustrates her. He's always a smooth ride, and she always finds green lights. Why? Am I manifesting this? How? I'm not even thinking about it, right? You don't go in your car purposely thinking about, oh, today is gonna be a great day. I'm just gonna find again people that are gonna piss me off on the highway. You don't do that. And maybe you even know that you're doing certain affirmation and still it happens and you just don't know why. The reason why it happens is because probably one of the first times that it happened to you, where you found those frustrations, you reacted emotionally to what? With what? With frustration, right? Maybe you have screamed on the wheel, right? You have screamed to the people, you got really angry, and you got even more frustrated to the point where now you don't even notice that you're doing it, because it's just becoming something so like a reaction again, something subconsciously. And even when you're trying not to do it, it still happens, so it's kind of hard. So how to change that, and why for your friend it doesn't happen? For your friend it doesn't happen because perhaps one of the times that it happened to that person, she didn't react in that way. She might have other sort of pattern that she holds, right? So never compare yourself to another person. So how will it stop? You won't necessarily, in my opinion, change the fact that there are people who can't drive and that will frustrate you. Because many people will go with the law of assumption and trying to say, oh, there are no people like this, no one frustrates me, and they think about changing the outside. That is possible. However, I will put it more in this way in order for not the pattern to repeat. I'm changing myself first. Therefore, I am changing my emotional reaction. I am going to be conscious. I am going to be aware today. I'm going to go and drive my car. It's going to be hard at the beginning. Yes, I'm going to affirm everything is wonderful. I love driving. People drive amazingly when they're next to me. I am going to affirm that, but at the same time, I'm going to be conscious of my emotional reactions. I'm going to be conscious about my reactions, and at the beginning, you're still going to have the same pattern, but instead of screaming and instead of being frustrated, I'm going to proactively stop that emotional reaction and ignore the situation. Now, this is a very simple, I think, example that anyone could relate to, but if you ever done this exercise, you would have noticed that the more you affirm, the more you stop reacting. Somehow, some way, it's not that the people that can't drive are not anymore on the highway, but you, like your friend, don't encounter them anymore. And perhaps at some point you will pass down the highway and you will see someone next to you shouting and screaming and getting frustrated, and you're like, I don't know why they're doing that, because I didn't find anything frustrating today. But you guys live in the same reality, right? You are in the same reality, but at the same time, you're not, because you create your own layer of reality. The same thing, obviously, this is a very simple example, but the same thing can be translated for anything else. So for example, you're dating and you want to find the one, you want to find a girl or a guy that really appreciates you and understands you, but somehow, some way, you seem like you always fall for the same kind of people, and you get angry, you get you get sad about it. Well, you need to probably see what things are important for you to change, what self-concept first you might have to change about yourself. For some people, it might be not a problem of self-concept at all. So if you know that your self-concept is amazing, just affirm your self-concept is amazing. I have a video just about that. But change your emotional reaction. So changing the emotional reaction could look like in the terms of dating. Yes, working on yourself. We already talked about that. Let's say my self-concept is amazing. Great, you do all the affirmations that you already know how to do. Then let's say you go on a date and you still meet the same kind of person. Instead of having the emotional reaction of being disappointed or being frustrated again or saying, oh, see, another time, you ignore it. You don't react to it. You pull away the energy and you're like, I don't care. And you move on to the next day and maybe the next day. And then you'll see that somehow, some way, you start meeting different people. So the trick is to not give off a reaction, an emotional reaction. Vadim Zealand in Reality Transurfing will put it as, and I'm not necessarily agreeing with everything that he says, but I think on this one he's right. He will put it, you know, reality is composed by pendulums. So by the way, I have a video dedicated to pendulums and what pendulums are on my Patreon. And therefore, they're trying to pull you towards old programming to keep you stuck in a lower plane or keep you miserable. And the trick is to ignore them. That's not, in my opinion, just another way of saying the same thing. The thing is, if you don't want something in your life, the first thing that you have to manage is not the world outside of you, but your internal world. It is especially your emotional reaction. Same for, I'm going to give you another example. You always create third parties or you always get rejected and somehow, some way, people never seem to choose you. You have to go within yourself and check what sort of, yes, self-concept you have, obviously, but then beyond the self-concept, also the sort of emotional reaction that you have a tendency to give off in every situation. I had to do the same too. Everybody has their own thing. So that's why you should never compare yourself to other people, because some people might struggle with relationship and have the same pattern over there. Some other people might have patterns with money. It could be different for very different people. I really do believe that each and every one of us has sometimes faced this kind of situation where you just seem to have constantly the same pattern. I had the same thing when it came down to my art or my content creation. I never had the same pattern, for example, necessarily with money or with relationship. But I remember, and this is going to be very personal, and I was wondering, should I tell this story or not? But I'm just too honest, so I'm like, fuck it. Oops. I'm just going to say it because I don't think I have to be ashamed of my mistake. And I just like, maybe somebody can learn from this, right? And somebody can resonate with it. I'm just not ashamed of my mistake. If you know me for a while, you probably even know about this already. So I had this problem where every single time I was creating content, whether it was my music, whether it was my YouTube channel, my videos, and I'm not just talking about this YouTube channel, but also my prior YouTube channel, it seems like I always faced the same pattern, which for me was someone that was copying my stuff. Now, I might have perceived it even wrong because that, you know, when you get into your mind and you start getting paranoid, you might even perceive people copying you and it's not even true. So that's a whole different story. But anyway, that was my perspective and my experience. Like, you see, I was putting up a video and 2 days later, there was a person with the same exact title of the video talking in the same exact way. And this has happened to me over and over and over again, not just with YouTube, but like I said, even with music for so many years, even when I was smaller, for other things. And I was constantly reacting to this, sometimes really badly, sometimes just privately I was reacting, but I noticed this is constantly happening to me. And what am I doing constantly in the same? I'm constantly reacting in the same way. I'm getting angry. I'm getting frustrated. I'm ranting. I'm focusing even more on this. Then at some point, I have decided this is just stupid. It doesn't matter. There's no competition. We are all trying to make our content. And even if a person got inspired with my content, I should be happy about it. I shouldn't give off all this negative energy because it just doesn't make any sense. And I just to focus on myself and what matters to me, my subscribers. And I just arrived this by myself. I wish I arrived there way before. And I just all of a sudden not stop reacting. I stopped caring. I just never said anymore anything apart from now that I'm telling the story. I just didn't care anymore. I actually was happy. I didn't notice, and somehow, some way, I didn't see it anymore. If it's happening, I don't see it, I don't care, and my life just got better, and that pattern stopped. Why did it stop? Because I stopped paying attention to it. I stopped emotionally reacting to it. I stopped complaining about it. And this is just an example as the many others. We can go on for hours on this video talking about example. By the way, comment down below your example. What is your common pattern? But I really think this, that the core is to ignore, not give the energy, and change the emotional reaction. So this is why many people ask me about how do I remove the third party or the unwanted circumstances? By changing your emotional reaction to it. Now I know it's easy said than done, and for some people it's going to be hard at the beginning, but sweetheart, we need to start. We need to start doing it. Yes, affirm, but we also need to stop paying so much attention to what we don't want, because I can't sit here and say, oh, just affirm, keep paying attention to the unwanted, and things are gonna get better. No, you need to proactively stop that reaction as much as possible. Start becoming more aware of your emotional reaction, and I promise you, there's no one to change but self. The mirror reality will mirror back a different state of consciousness, because you inside are holding a different reaction and are holding a different state of consciousness. Now, I hope this video is clear and it was easy and simple with the examples that I gave. Let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think? Have you experienced that? What are your conclusions? I really love to hear your stories and also your experiences, so we can learn from each other. Thumbs up if you enjoyed this video and has created values for you. Subscribe and hit the ring bell button to always get notified about my new content. Join the membership of Patreon as you like if you want to support the channel further. I love you guys, and I see you very soon. Bye!